Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 22nd day of January, 2024. Well, we have a master number today, 22, 11, 22, and 33 are master numbers. 22 is the cosmic builder, so profound soul level change today. What you manifest matters, and it comes from higher awareness. Then, it can be something extremely powerful. So do what you can today to manifest your truth and manifest something new in your life in a very powerful spiritual way. Let's go ahead and take the, well, if I can get this bag open, we'll take the rune. Let's take today's As Above side from the Elder Futhark. That rune here as our significator, one of them for today. Well, if I could get the last one to fall into my hand, it'll be good. Okay, we have I was. I was is an interesting rune. It's essentially Laguz. It appears to be forward in reverse, but if you turn it around, it's not. Laguz looks like this. It's flow from its intuition, its higher awareness. And so for I was, you're bringing that, you're flowing that into your physical reality, into your ego awareness or personality awareness, if you will. And if you were to spin it, it's literally it becomes a vortex that the soul basically flows into your awareness. The higher self flows into your awareness with I was. I was is the 13th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's the connection between opposites. Again, it's an as above, so below rune. So willow. You have as above, so below with that one as well. It's the link between realms. It's useful in trance work, and it's also a protection rune. But literally, it's about the flow of your higher awareness into your present moment awareness. We'll just call it that. I don't really like calling it ego awareness, but the present moment awareness that's maybe feels cut off from higher awareness. You're not. You're never cut off. And I was is the type of rune that can emulate that and suggest that the path is open, the vortex is open, to bring that into your present moment awareness. And embody that higher vision, if you will, in your interactions with others and the decisions you make and in your behavior, really. Let's see what the lower side of things, though, the below side of things is all about today. Well, we have Caput Draconis. Now, the Draconi, Caput and Kata, they represent the nodes of the moon. Caput represents the north node of the moon, while Kata represents the south node. And so the south node would be, if I can find it here, the south node would be about, it would reflect past life. It would reflect karma, if you will, things that are unfinished and that still need to be worked through. Whereas Caput Draconis is about being on the threshold of new experiences. And so again, with this 22 energy today, being such a high vibratory number, I was as well being a high vibratory energy rune. And then with Caput Draconis, the head of the dragon, as opposed to the tail of the dragon, or Kata, it's pretending you're on the threshold of something new, something profound, something that is essentially higher awareness based, seeing things from that perspective instead of letting your ego get stuck in things that really aren't real. That may seem like it because it works for you in that moment, but that's not necessarily the real truth. That's not necessarily the fundamental higher truth that we all embody, whether we realize it or not. But let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and see where we are there. It gets a little bit more information about how that's going to manifest today. I like when I can pull higher vibratory runes to start us out. It's not always the case. Sometimes, you'll get a higher vibratory rune on the Elder Futhark side, and then you'll get something like Rubius or something, which is a misuse of force on the lower side. So and that happened, I think, last week. Yeah, we had Gebo and Tristitia. Tristitia really interfering with expressing balanced energy exchange with Gebo. So we'll see how this goes, though. Let's go ahead and we'll cut the deck and take the lower half. Take 3 cards. Well, we had the Queen of Swords. When did we have that? Oh, we had that on Thursday. The Queen of Swords is an interesting. Well, we'll get to her when we're done. Let me look at this though, and see the truth of this here. Do we want to? I have the 7 of Pentacles, the 6 of Pentacles. So yeah, let's leave it in this order, and then the Queen of Swords. Let's do it that way. Now, again, with the 22, in terms of today's numerology for the reading, I'm not going to include the date, but we have 13. Let's just look at this really quick. We have 13 for Iwas. We have 7 for the 7 of Pentacles and 6 for the, why did that come up? We have 13 plus 7 plus 6. It came up with 13.13. I don't know. There was something on there before. There's no number associated with the Queen. So right now we have 26, 2 and 6 is 8. So we have strength, basically, leadership, material recognition, and approval. But 8 really, I think, resonates for me the most with the idea of inner strength. And I think that you could also call that higher strength, inner strength that's derived from higher awareness, basically. And so I think that the overall numerology is going to align well with Iwas, and also portends the idea of a new beginning. Something could be coming into your awareness today where you suddenly understand what's going on. You see the truth of something. I think the Queen of Swords is probably going to talk about that here in a minute. But I like the idea with Caput Draconis of being on the threshold of something new. And again, higher awareness may not be something you're accustomed to accessing. Maybe you don't realize it's there. Maybe you don't identify it that way, but sometimes something will just come in and you'll know something. Well, that's higher awareness. You just know. You can't explain how you know it. You just know. It's like when you get that gut feeling. A mother gets them all the time about her children, right? And I would venture to guess fathers do as well, but there's something about the mother instinct, where you're really on a different level with your kids. It's not so much a physical form type of thing going on. It's higher awareness where you're connected with those children in a way that's just different. It reflects a knowing about them that they probably, especially when they get older, they're probably like, oh God, I hope mom doesn't know this. But moms do. Moms just know, right? So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. Then we'll just keep it in the order that we have. Let's start with the 7 of Pentacles. So having a run on Pentacles here, material security is important here with Pentacles. It's the physicality of your life. It's education. It's your career. It's home. It's family. It's tradition, structure, foundation. And here the farmer is sitting, kind of leaning on his rake or his hoe. You can't really tell for sure what it is because it's sort of covered up right here by some other stuff on the ground, some blue stuff on the ground. But he's looking at his grape harvest. That's what these are. These are grapevines. You see he's looking at the worth of them, the value of them. You see the pentacles embedded in them, ones on the ground. You can see there's some leaves right there. But the crop is worth something to him. It's how he makes his living, maybe. It's how he protects his family and keeps them, especially over the winter, safe and secure and fed and all of that. Either it's crops that they put up for their own use, or it's something that they sell. to then be able to buy the things that they need. And so with the 7, though, he's taking stock. He's taking a look at it. You can see he's just looking at the grapevines there. And again, this is not necessarily a vineyard. It's just happens to be how they're describing the wealth that he's growing here by what he's doing. And so he's just basically in this midpoint here of the season. 7 would indicate the midpoint. He's just taking a look at where things are right now. Does he have enough? Does he need to have more? Where is he at on this? And from there we go to the 6. Now here you see a lack of balance. You see the 3 on one side, you see 1 up here, and you see only 1. And it's almost like the scales that are kind of behind his back there, where he's hoping things are in balance. You can see that they're not. Here you see a man, he's a man of means. You see 2 people on the ground covered in blankets. They represent people that are poor and indigent. They have nothing. They have no work. They have no home. They are dependent upon him for a few little coins he wants to put in their hands. And so it's almost like, well, gee, I think I'm doing a good thing, but really, is it more about him than it is about what he's doing for these people? Because I've said this before, I don't like this card. I think that instead of the assistance it's certainly providing assistance, and the 6 is about that. 6 is about the assistance and guidance. It's about shared journey. It could, but they don't have a shared journey going on here, do they? And so it's almost like there's an illusion in this guy's mind that he's helping them, because he's really not. He's not lifting them out of the poverty that they're in. He's not offering them a job. He's not offering them something that can actually, help them in their lives and transform their lives. And again, with today's 22 numerology for the day itself, it would suggest that this is the opportunity to do something quite profound. And maybe it's profound to increase your own material security, or maybe to help someone else. We've got a lot of weather damage that's going on, at least in our state we do. Not so much where I live, but more over in the Valley area, in the Portland area. And I know in Eugene there's a lot of trees down too that have hit houses and done all kinds of damage. They had a lot of ice there too. But the Portland area and the greater Portland area is a mess, whether you're looking at Troutdale or Gresham or wherever you're looking at, everywhere is a mess, whether it's the southeast side of town or the western side of town, the eastern or the western, it doesn't matter. I used to live in southeast Portland. I also lived in downtown Portland. I also lived in Tigard for a little while, and Beaverton before my husband and I moved here. But during college, I was in downtown Portland and in Tigard. So, and then a little bit when I still lived at home, I went to a Mount Hood community, so I lived in Gresham with my mother still. But then I moved and transferred schools and went to Portland State. So I know the area, I know what can happen in the wintertime, but what's happening now is an anomaly. And I know my husband was here. He had already been born during the Columbus Day storm. We hadn't moved to Portland yet. We were still in Alaska, so I don't know what that was like. But he says it was horrible, and it was. I know that it was. But this almost reminds me, although I have no idea what that looked like personally, it's almost like this is another Columbus Day storm that they're going through. It's a mess. It's just a mess. And so maybe this is a time to do something powerful for somebody else, to help them out, to do something for them that they don't expect, So it could be that type of a thing. And the 6 of Pentacles might be describing something like that, were there not such an inequality with it. But maybe what you do for them isn't going to be enough, so there's the inequality. You have the ability to do something that they don't have the ability to do. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you don't try to help make a positive, do something positive for their lives either. So it could be something like that. You take stock of what you have, what you can offer others here. But in comes the Queen of Swords. Now, I said this the last time. She does not suffer fools gladly. Okay, she doesn't. She's somebody that sits on her throne. She's beckoning someone to come near. You don't see that person, but her hand's out. You see her sword pointing up toward heaven. So she's wanting to have a higher truth here. She doesn't want to be told lies. She doesn't want any deception. She's not going to put up with it. But she also doesn't put up with self-deception. So I would say, especially paired with the Six of Pentacles here, when you're taking stock of what you have, don't deceive yourself here in what you offer others. Don't deceive yourself in thinking that you're doing something really positive when maybe it's just something for your own ego. There's no higher awareness at work there. It's just he's just making himself feel better here. He's not really helping those people. So you want to guard against something like that today. You want to take the I was experience and draw that higher awareness in so that what you do for others actually makes a difference for them as much as you possibly can. Now, I realize in the example that I gave, there's going to only be so much you can do for somebody who's had a tree crash through their house. There's only so much you can do there. But whatever neighborly thing you can offer, it's a good idea, because if you're the one with the tree through the house, you're probably standing there going, oh Lord, what do we do now? Because if you don't have family in the area, where are you going to stay? How are you going to live for a while till your home is fixed? Assuming maybe it just has to be rebuilt. Maybe you take the insurance money and you go somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know what people do in a case like this, but it's a very profound situation going on. And especially with today's 22 numerology, even a little help for somebody could be something profound in their lives that happens, especially if nobody's offered anything before. Offering them to come in and have a meal with you, or giving them a place to stay for a few days, or going and if the house is still standing and there's no tree hitting it, maybe you just go over and you help them clean up a little bit. Something like that. It would mean the world to somebody like that's experiencing it. And again, I'm just taking the most recent thing that's happening here as an example. It could be anything. You might have a neighbor, it's wintertime, and there's snow on their roof, and maybe they're older and they can't really do anything about it, and maybe you have the means to come over and get the snow off the roof. Again, it might seem small to you, but to them it's quite profound. And it's literally taking stock of what you have to offer others and doing it in a way that actually makes a difference instead of giving the illusion of it, and not deceiving yourself in thinking that this is enough, right? Where is your priority? Where is your heart in all of it? Is it something where you're really giving what you can and it comes from the heart, and you're not fooling yourself into thinking, oh, I'll just, throw a little bit of this their way and it'll be okay? No, that's not what today is all about, especially with the 22 numerology for today. This is a profound day. Profound things can happen here. There can be change in people's lives, giving somebody hope, even if it's just hope. That sometimes that's enough. Maybe it's everything to them because maybe they didn't have any. And now all of a sudden, their perception shifts. And it's like, wow, this person that I barely know, a neighbor maybe, I know them, but I don't know them, is coming over and helping me clean up my yard after a windstorm, or helping me with clearing my driveway so I can get out and go to the grocery store. If I can just get out of but I don't have the ability to do that myself. Maybe maybe the person's older or has a disability or whatever, and they just can't do it, or they don't have the tools to do it. And so to have somebody come over and help them that way would be a godsend, basically. And so again, having the integrity, having the assertion within, the inner strength within, to be honest about the situation and to offer what you can in an honest way. Bringing that higher awareness in, that inner knowing, and then having the inner strength to move from that point and do what you need to do for somebody else. Even if it's just about, even if this is just an inner working kind of a reading, where you're able to look at the things you do and really know, was I acting from ego or was I acting from higher awareness? Was it really more about me, or is it really about what I'm trying to offer someone else, without any expectations, without any quid pro quo? We've all heard that enough, haven't we, over the last few years? Without all of that happening, I don't need anything from you. I just want to give to you. And I want to do something that's going to make a difference, even if it's just for a day. I want to help you through the experience you've had. Maybe I'll come over, I'll shovel your driveway. Oh, I'll bring my snowblower over, and I'll, or if you have a long driveway, maybe they got a grater and they can grate your on their tractor, on their lawn tractor or something. Or if they have a tractor, they can actually, we have a grater on ours. And you can actually move dirt that way, right? You can move the snow that way. In the case of the snow, it's just something that you offer to others because they don't have anything, and they're in a sense stranded, and you just want to help them out of that situation. That could be, you take stock of what you've got, what you can offer people, and then go do it. And then make sure that you're coming from a place of integrity and trust and respect and love and higher awareness when you're doing it. And then you could end up being, or creating the space for someone else to be on the threshold of something new. Maybe you end up with a new relationship out of it, a new friendship, where that person is so grateful to what you did. Maybe you get to know one another, and that becomes a real blessing in your life. So I realize that's just excuse me, that's just one example. And but it's something that flows from higher awareness. It flows from spirit. It's just something that expresses grace in your life. And I think that right now, a lot of people don't know what to do. And if they're in an area where this kind of stuff is happening, they may not know what to do. They're just stuck. And to hear a knock on the door saying, hey, you need to get out of your driveway, I can help you with that. I'm happy to do that. I'm going to go do that. Or you just go out and you do it. You just show up and you start shoveling the driveway, and they happen to notice. And it can mean the difference between them going out and getting food or not, right? So it's just one of those things that in these moments where some tricky things are going on, this is the time where we can offer ourselves to others, if it's at all possible to do so. Even if it's just calling up your parents and saying, hey, are you guys doing okay? If you live a ways away and you can't get there, and you're dealing with your own stuff with the weather, but at least you could call your mom and dad and say, hey, or your mom or your dad, whatever is your situation is. Or if your parents are gone, then, or they're not experiencing anything like this, maybe another relative might need a phone call and would appreciate that, just to make sure they're okay, just to hear your voice, and don't text. I mean, unless that's all you've got, don't text, call them. They want to hear your voice. The texting is fine, but in times like this, you really need to hear people's voices. It makes all the difference. It really does, especially if you're a parent and all you get are texts from your kids. It's like, geez, can't they just call me once in a while? I mean, it's one of those kind of things. And in times like this, that's what they really do want to hear. They want to hear you. And just, express your love and all of that. And just, it's just a difficult time right now for some folks. And just to hear their kids call them and tell them, hey, mom, dad, I love you. And, are you okay? Do you have enough? Is there anything I can do? And, it just whatever. Times like this, it really, you've taken stock of what you have, and it's the love you have to share. That's the greatest thing you have anyway. And so even though we see the farmer, looking at his grape crop, realistically, he's taking stock of what he has. what he has to offer, what he has to give, what he has to sell, what he has of himself that he can offer. You know, you can look at this in a variety of different ways, really. And again, with the 8 numerology for the reading, it takes inner strength to do that, maybe. It shouldn't, but it does. And if it does, that's fine. You have it today. You have the 22 numerology for the day, and you have the inner strength from the reading today that tells you that doing this, you could put yourself or someone else on the threshold of something better. So anyhow, I think that's it. That's a good way to start on a Monday, isn't it? Anyway, Thursday is Imbolc Eve. Friday is Imbolc, the 2nd. I believe I've got those dates correct here. Let me be sure. Yeah, Thursday is the Imbolc Eve, Lughnasadh Eve in the southern hemisphere. But right now, Imbolc or Candlemas or whatever you want to call it, Imbolc is about the birth of the foals and the lambs in the springtime. It's kind of like the about midway between winter solstice and the spring equinox. It's about midway. But it's the time where spring is coming. Not so much where I live because we're so high up, but in other areas, you know, if it wasn't such a mess and ice everywhere, then you might start to see in the month of February, you'll start to see flowers starting to come up, crocuses and daffodils and things like that. Not so much here. It's usually another month or so before that happens. But with the climate changing, I don't know, you know. But it's basically Imbolc is a fire festival, and again, it's fertility returning. It's the beginning of spring. So what are we going to grow, right? And where's that going to come from? It's going to come from spirit or someplace else. So anyway, thanks for watching. Everything's up on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. Click on more if you forget, and it's right there below. A little box will come up, and it's right there at the top if you forget the web address. Go over there and check them out. The forecast is up. The correspondences for work and magic are up. There's an astrology cheat sheet for the month, or not the month, but the week, also the monthly calendar of astrological events. That's up. And also the Exploring Tarot post is up. And I guess that's it. Click subscribe if you haven't. I'd love you to do that. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.